Did you know that the NBA fines players for celebrating on courts, and some of the celebrations are completely banned? You are shocked, aren't you? In this video, we will dive into the list of players who have been fined by the NBA for just celebrating and why. Before diving into the players and their action, let's discuss: why do NBA players get fined for celebrating? Nowadays, the NBA fines players for a variety of offenses, including celebrations. These, however, are not the typical ones you usually see during matches. NBA players receive fines for their vulgar and indecent celebrations, like LeBron James's big ball dance, which we will discuss in a moment. They may impose a fine ranging from $5,000 to $50,000 or more, depending on the seriousness of the offensive celebration. In the NBA, most celebrations are typically permitted. The way that players celebrate is up to them. However, since the league is viewed by many people around the world, they don't want players making vulgar gestures. Given how many young people follow the NBA, it makes sense. Many young people all throughout the world have found inspiration in the NBA over the years. As a result, they impose discipline on their teams and players. There is no NBA regulation that specifically states that celebrations by players can result in fines. However, they have the authority to decide who is fined for excessive celebrations. Let's just agree that they don't appreciate obscene celebration moves, since there are no concrete guidelines stating which ones are forbidden. Plus, several celebrations have already been outlawed. However, players invent new celebrations every season. These are the rules to assist you identify which celebrations are subject to fines. Vulgar language used, use of sexual gestures, profanity, and celebrations that cause harm to others. You'll begin to recognize a theme if you follow these. Therefore, as long as the celebration isn't vulgar or offensive, it's okay. Having said, these are the banned celebrations in the NBA. 1. LeBron James's big balls, 15K. The Lakers' 124-116 victory over the Indiana Pacers in one season was one of the few shining moments of the Purple and Gold's miserable year. LeBron James had it cooking the entire night as he capped it off with 39 points. With more than a minute left, James made a three-pointer to give his side a 6-point lead. James then made an awkward stroll back to the other end of the court. He produced a modified version of Big Ball Celebration. James' antics were quickly picked up on by the Pacers analyst. Of course, the NBA has the king constantly in its eyes, and he received a $15,000 fine from them. Since the famous guard Sam Cassell invented the taunt, James' dance served as a history lesson for the audience. Kobe Bryant, Klay Thompson, Fred VanVleet, and Jameer Nelson, among others, have done the same. Hence, James also paid respect to all the great basketball players that came before him. He undoubtedly anticipated receiving a fine. However, $15,000 won't even put a dent in his bank account. 2. Jimmy Butler's Hump, 15K. The most amusing aspect of this situation is that Jimmy Butler wasn't on the ground when he began to celebrate. He was dressed casually and tending to an injury by the sidelines. Butler might have believed that since no cameras would be present, he could act any way he pleased as a result of these factors. He had no idea that the NBA constantly had cameras fixed on the star of each club. Butler also possesses one of the NBA's most intriguing personalities. The man is very marketable. The second amusing aspect of the situation is how Butler accused head coach Erik Spoelstra for it when the NBA fined him $15,000. Butler claimed that Spo urges them to acknowledge the accomplishments of their teammates. Butler was merely carrying out his coach's orders. 3. Sexually suggestive actions. In order to create a good image, in addition to bloody violence, the NBA also specifically bans those celebrations that have strong sexual hints. For example, the famous Castle Dance Step was banned by the league. Although the league banned the Castle Dance Step, there are still many stars who do this in the game, resulting in a hefty fine. 4. Cutthroat. Dwayne Wade, who was in the Bulls before, used the celebratory action of circumcision after scoring the lore and received a fine from the league. As we all know, Chicago is the gang capital of the United States, and if any player makes this gangster gesture in a home game in this city, it will naturally make people think about it. Therefore, Wade also received a fine of $25,000 after playing a good game, which is regarded as paying the price for his own actions. 5. Pierce down, okay gesture. In addition to cutting his throat gesture, Pierce was also fined by the league for the gang's okay gesture. As we all know, Pierce has a deep gang background. In the game, he moved flexibly after making a three-pointer and made this gesture of their gang. After making this gesture, what was waiting for him was a heavy fine of tens of thousands of dollars. 6. The Sheed Stare, Rasheed Wallace. This band celebration takes us back to the early 2000s when Rasheed Wallace was making a name for himself as a formidable power forward. Known for his intensity on the court, Wallace had a signature move that became infamous, the Sheed stare. The league deemed the prolonged and intimidating stare as unsportsmanlike conduct, leading to fines for Wallace. While fans loved the intensity, the NBA decided that this celebration crossed the line. What are your thoughts on the Sheed stare? Let us know in the comments below. 7. Gerald Green's trigger finger, 25K. Green celebrated by making a cutthroat motion. Before that, he pulled out an imaginary gun and began shooting towards the Wizards bench. Green performed the celebration of firing his gun twice. Despite all of his mischief, the NBA fined him $25,000 for making menacing gestures. Green was overcome by his feelings. To be clear, he joined the Heat during their second campaign without LeBron James, the 2015-16 NBA season. The team had this chip on their shoulder, as did the entire city. They wanted to demonstrate that James wasn't needed to win. Green was simply motivated by the crowds and the team's intense drive for victory. 8. Dwight Howard finger tongue, 35K. One of the silliest NBA players in history is Dwight Howard. When players display more of their personality, the league loves it. But there are always restrictions on everything. Players cannot just show their joy to the fans by making an offensively inappropriate gesture. It would be interesting to know what motivated Howard to poke fun at the Cavs supporters in that manner. Is he disrespectful to them? Had they bugged Dwight the whole time? Or did Dwight suddenly experience memories from last night's after-hours activity? Regardless, Howard's finger and tongue celebration should be included in the long list of his amusing pranks. 9. Dikembe Mutombo's Fingerwag, 5K every time. Dikembe Mutombo received fines every time he performed his trademark celebration, the finger wag, unlike the other athletes on this list who only received fines for specific incidents. The NBA wanted Mutombo to stop with this small taunt, especially then NBA Commissioner David Stern. Mutombo continued to do it though. He didn't mind paying $5,000 for each wave of the finger. Even Stern himself asked him to quit his shenanigans. But Mutombo resisted giving up. The NBA eventually agreed to let the renowned shot blocker continue, but only if he made sure to point his finger at the spectators rather than his opponent's face. 10. Kyrie Irving's sage burning ceremony. Let's fast forward to more recent times with Kyrie Irving and his unique celebration, the sage burning ceremony. Known for his spiritual beliefs, Irving began burning sage before games as a way to cleanse the energy of the arena. While Irving's intentions were rooted in personal beliefs, the NBA took issue with the open flames in the arena, citing safety concerns. Irving faced fines for violating league policies. 11. LeBron James's chalk toss. No discussion about celebrations would be complete without mentioning LeBron James and his iconic chalk toss. Before every game, LeBron would ceremoniously toss chalk into the air as part of his pre-game routine. While the chalk toss became synonymous with LeBron's entrance, the league eventually banned the ritual due to concerns about the impact of chalk dust on the arena's air quality. Do you miss the LeBron chalk toss, or do you think it was the right call to ban it? Let us know in the comments. And with that, our video comes to an end. I sincerely hope you found today's video thrilling and fascinating. Don't forget to click the button below to like and subscribe to our channel. Smacking the bell icon will make sure you never miss an upload. Share this video to everyone who's into basketball. Finally, do leave your thoughtful opinions and overall feedback in the comment section below. And I'll see you all again in the next one. Goodbye!